Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, the month of February started with the Supreme Court deciding to intervene to help Donald Trump stay on the state election ballots. And the month of February just ended with the Supreme Court deciding to intervene and bring Donald Trump's D.C. federal prosecution for trying to overturn the 2020 election to a screeching halt. So, here we are again. The rule of law won't save us, but we will save us. We will save us by again going to the polls in numbers too big to rig and too real to steal. We did it in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024. We have to. Because justice matters. Friends, here's a brief recap of the legal stories for the month that was February 2024. Friends, here's a short recap of the legal stories for the month that was January 2024. So friends, 3 legal stories just broke. I know you'll find this shocking, but they all have to do with Donald Trump. We're going to talk about how these 3 stories intersect and what they may tell us about which of Trump's criminal cases might be the first to go to trial. Well, friends, it's now official. Donald Trump's March 4 trial date has been postponed, but please, don't despair. There are lots of criminal cases in the mix and lots of opportunities for Donald Trump to be convicted for his crimes. So, friends, in a new court filing, Special Counsel Jack Smith punches back at Donald Trump's incessant lies. So friends, on February 8th, the Supreme Court will hear oral arguments on whether an insurrectionist should be permitted to return to the Oval Office. Now friends, today was a good day for the rule of law. Now, I'm not yet prepared to say it was a good day for justice, but we're getting there. Well, friends, now that a D.C. appeals court has ruled unanimously that Donald Trump is not above the law, Donald Trump is not a king, Donald Trump can be prosecuted for the crimes he committed while in office, we still have one justice hurdle ahead of us, the Supreme Court. So friends, given how today's oral arguments played out in the Supreme Court, on the issue of whether somebody who engaged in insurrection should be allowed to hold office again in the future, given how those arguments unfolded, today was a rough day. It was a rough day for the rule of law. It was a rough day for the sanctity of our vote. It was a rough day for justice. Well, friends, one of Donald Trump's close advisors who tried to help him overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election, Peter Navarro, is headed to prison. It's a start. I am thrilled to welcome to our Justice Matters YouTube channel Tristan Snell, who is the author of a book with an intriguing title, Taking Down Trump, which is something that I'm going to take a flyer and say 3/4 of the American population would like to see happen, and not just on the civil front, but on the criminal front. But first of all, Tristan, welcome.
Thanks, Glenn. I'm really happy to be here.
How is it that those tendencies in Donald Trump gave you guys the big break in the case?
He doesn't pay his vendors. Paid. Trump, when he shuts down a business, even though he owns it and it's through, and with the Trump organization and the money that it has, rather than say, okay, we're going to pay off all of the existing bills and then we're going to shut the lights off, he just stops paying for everything and shuts the lights off.
So friends, we're about to find out whether the United States Supreme Court is going to let Donald Trump's trial in his federal prosecution for trying to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election, whether the Supreme Court is going to let that case proceed to trial, or whether they're going to stop it dead in its tracks, either temporarily or even worse, permanently. Well, friends, at least the Supreme Court seems to be picking up the pace, and maybe, just maybe, Donald Trump will soon be headed to trial in his criminal prosecution in Washington, D.C. for trying to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. So friends, what do you say? Are we in a New York state of mind? Might New York be the first jurisdiction to take Donald Trump to trial for just some of his crimes? We're about to find out. Well, friends, at long last, Donald Trump's first criminal trial. His prosecution for trying to interfere in the 2016 presidential election will kick off in a New York courtroom on March 25th. Well, friends, Donald Trump just lost again, a massive loss in his New York civil fraud trial. What do Donald Trump's losses in his civil cases foreshadow, portend, tell us about what's likely to happen in his criminal cases? I am so thrilled to have with us today on our Justice Matters YouTube channel, Ron Fine. He is the legal director of Free Speech for People, a remarkable organization that has been in this democracy battle for years. Ron, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to join you.
So after being attacked by the very defendants she is prosecuting for trying to steal an election from the people of Georgia, District Attorney Fani Willis takes the stand to defend her honor, her ethics, and her integrity. So friends, there is a clear pattern emerging. Not only is Donald Trump losing court case after court case, but it's juries that are unanimously finding against him, time and again. Important foreshadowing. Well, friends, it looks like Trump-appointed Judge Aileen Cannon may have put both herself and Donald Trump in an uncomfortable box. So friends, with all the cases he's lost, with all the massive money judgments that have been entered against him, Donald Trump's balance sheet is looking pretty rough. So friends, now that we know that Republican Representatives Jim Jordan and James Comer used Russian disinformation as the basis to try to impeach an American president, should Jordan and Comer be investigated for their possible involvement in a conspiracy with Russia to interfere in our presidential election? Well, friends, in his federal case down in Florida, Donald Trump just threw a Hail Mary pass, asking the judge to just dismiss the case against him, just throw out all the charges. Let's hope that Donald Trump's favorite judge down in Florida, Judge Aileen Cannon, isn't standing in the opponent's end zone waiting to catch Donald Trump's Hail Mary pass. Well, friends, we recently learned that Republicans Jim Jordan and James Comer used Russian lies to try to impeach an American president. And now we're learning that a Trump-appointed Republican U.S. attorney was supposed to vet the accuracy of that information. And now, most recently, we are learning that a member of Congress has asked the Department of Justice to investigate that Trump-appointed U.S. attorney. What a tangled Republican web.
And the court didn't seem to be concerned one whit about the big constitutional picture. What's your take on all of that?
It's frankly astonishing that in well over an hour of oral argument, there was almost no discussion about whether Donald Trump engaged in insurrection. Because if some of the justices wanted to say that, they could have.
So friends, as Donald Trump's first criminal trial approaches, the prosecutors are finding that once again, they need to seek the court's assistance in protecting the witnesses, the jurors, and others from Donald Trump and his supporters. So friends, Donald Trump filed a motion with his favorite judge, Judge Aileen Cannon, down in Florida, urging Judge Cannon to dismiss his entire case, his entire federal prosecution in Florida, claiming that he's being selectively prosecuted. Well, Special Counsel Jack Smith just filed his reply. And Smith has a little something to say about Donald Trump's claim of selective prosecution. So friends, did you see that Donald Trump just tried to lowball the New York courts? He's supposed to put up $450 million in either cash or in a bond to appeal the loss in his New York fraud trial, but he told the courts, no, I'll put up a bond in the amount of $100 million. I mean, does Donald Trump think the New York courts have a fraud forgiveness program? Well, friends, a largely compromised Supreme Court just did Donald Trump a solid. And in the process, potentially did some real damage to our democracy. Let's talk about that, because justice matters.
It's for sure. Justice matters. Justice matters. Justice matters, matters, it matters.